Hello and welcome to another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman, and I'm joined by my usual cohorts, Uncle Joe McLaughlin, and he's JP's first son, Tim Hoey. Well, we have another great show for you tonight. So, boys, let's get it started. We start with the New England Patriots, and it's very rare that you have a player that comes into a system, a young player who's the chosen one. But Mac Jones is the chosen one. Boys, we're all set. Get your jerseys hot off the presses. For the next 20 years, Jones will be the jersey you wear. Look, they beat the Jets. He was very efficient. Again, 75% completion rating. You got to be impressed with Mac Jones, fellas.
So should Jimmy G feel jilted right now? That's all I want to know.
Jimmy G's actually played well, Timmy.
But has he been kicked to the curb in the Scotty Kerman world of quarterbacks right now?
Absolutely. He's going to sign. He's hitchhiking right now.
He's a distant memory, huh?
Absolutely, Timmy.
A scorned lover, I guess.
But like you said last week, Jimmy G is not that young. So it's, not that look, San Francisco looked for a replacement and draft.
You wonder if you had to pick Tom Brady or Mac today with, the 15 years ahead of us, who are you going to pick?
Yeah, you mean because Tom Brady's going to play till he's 60?
Is he going to play till he's 60? I mean, what's he going to? We hopefully have. So we hopefully have many fruitful years of Mac Jones in our future, and Tom Brady probably has a year left after this, I'm guessing.
Who's going to be
Tampa Bay can go back to the gutter that they crawled out of.
Who's going to be a better quarterback in 3 years, Tom Brady or Mac Jones?
Brady could be if he's still playing, but I mean,
he's threatening to go to 50 now. 45 is yesterday's news. Now he's talking 50.
Oh my God. Well, we can't. But guys, I know Mac Jones statistically, as far as red zone, like you talked about, Joe, before the show. But Mac Jones, the eye test, he's very efficient.
He's a capable manager, and he's just whether they're telling him to check down or he just is afraid to throw downfield, I don't know what it's about. But actually, you just quoted that he completed 70% of his passes. The advanced statistics said he should have completed 78% of them. He actually didn't measure up to what he was supposed to do. His passes were so short.
We're being hard. Everybody's being really hard to me on Mac Jones.
No, he's a rookie. You're not being hard. We're just being honest.
Well, I think they're keeping him. I heard today they're asking him not to lose games right now. I don't think they want to put having to win games on his shoulders. They're asking him to be super careful with the ball. And we saw what happened to the New York rookie. He got, he was out there gunslinging and he lost the game for them, really. So I don't mind, Matt. Brady was on the same short leash when he started out.
For a number of years, I know Brady won a Super Bowl, but Brady was not a top quarterback when he won his first Super Bowl. He wasn't even a top 20 quarterback.
The knock on him was he couldn't throw downfield, and everyone used to bait him into it. Remember? And then he started throwing downfield when he got Randy Moss.
Yeah.
Look,
he didn't come into his own until Moss showed up on the scene.
Well, Damon Harris played poorly in the first game, fumbling the ball when on the 7-yard line, but he redeemed himself in the second game. I thought he played really well, obviously protected the ball, and he's a key guy moving forward.
He's got a bad finger, though, so we might not see him. Belichick doesn't trust guys with sore fingers. They might lose the ball.
Well, look, Damian Harris, he has to stay healthy, Timmy, for the Patriots to do anything this year.
Well, they do have some other good running backs. Stevenson, look, I know the rebuttal is going to be he was playing against third and fourth stringers, but he looked pretty darn good. But I've been waiting for the evolution of Harris. This guy was playing in front of Najee Harris at Alabama, and Najee Harris is a pretty darn good player. And he was getting the carries over him. I think he's going to have a great year. I don't think we've seen a running back like him maybe since Corey Dillon at the Patriots.
And that might have been one of the greatest running plays in Patriot history.
Yeah.
That touchdown against the Jets.
And Mac Jones running down 30 yards to push him into the end zone. Look, Timmy loves his Bruins. That's a total Bruins Marcus Smart move.
I love it.
Fight.
Yeah.
He
needed that little extra push into the end zone, and there was Mac to do it.
Look, we were very excited when Trent Brown was reacquired to the Patriots. But he's a very large man, and when he gets injuries, I think they're very large. He has really basically not played these 2 games. Trent Brown has to stay healthy, and Trent Brown has to be in the lineup come Sunday for the Patriots, and Mac Jones not to get killed.
There might be all sorts of changes in those tackles. Isaiah Wynn on the other side didn't play well either.
Terrible, right?
The old line
Not
was
as bad as
very
the
poor.
right side. The right side was just atrocious.
You take one key component out of the offensive line, and they just have to start doing the old switcherooskies there, and everyone's playing a little bit out of their positions. And it was very, very obvious in the game Sunday. They looked horrible.
No one was playing out of position except right. No one played out of position. They all played their regular position.
Did they?
It just yes.
I thought I heard talk on the game that the people were switching around and moving around. Maybe I heard wrong.
No.
Okay. But they look terrible.
They talked about switching on when you back out to tackle, but the Patriots were listening to the announcers.
This is supposed to be the best old line we've had in a while, and they sure didn't look like it Sunday.
Yeah, because Timmy.
Well, the Sunday before.
Yeah.
Look, the mark on Isaiah Wynn was he couldn't stay healthy, but when he did play, he was efficient, and that was not the case last week. He's got to step up. I mean, if he's going to play, he needs to step up, or Mac Jones is going to get himself killed, and we cannot have the chosen one hurt.
No. Durability. We'll see what his durability is.
Literally, the season is over if Mac Jones gets hurt.
Yeah.
I think Brian Hoyer can do the same things that Mac is now, but it's important that the rookie gets all the reps he can, sees NFL defenses as much as he can, sees all the different things that these defenses do to him. And the more he plays, the better off we are in the long run. We want him to stay healthy, just as a learning year. For nothing else, if they win, that's bonus. But let him learn.
Oh, Joe, you're the expert on the Patriots and football and stuff. But I'm just gonna forget right now that you said Brian Hoyer could do the same thing. Seriously? What is there? A billow of smoke behind you? What are you smoking? Seriously?
We got a little taste
on the field as well as Mac Jones. Seriously, he can't even put his helmet on correctly like Mac Jones can. Just stop it. Brian Hoyer's a stiff. He's only there because he's coaching up Mac Jones.
We got a taste of Brian Hoyer last year. It was me waiting for that backup goalie Halak to go in for Tuca.
Yeah,
and we got a taste of Halak, and I don't want to see Brian Hoyer on that field.
He couldn't beat out Cam Newton for the starting job, Joe. Right? I mean, they wouldn't even.
Oh yeah, he's there for as veteran presence and as like a second coach for Mac. But Mac you got to stop putting too much on Mac's shoulders. He's not ready for it yet.
The fact is, the backup quarterback for the New England Patriots is Cam Newton. It is. Because if something happened to Mac Jones, Cam Newton would be back on the team on Monday.
You really think so?
Still sitting on his coach, right?
Absolutely. Nobody, like Joe said, nobody's going to sign Cam Newton. And the only person that would Bill Belichick to bring him back in the system only has to pay him a minimum, veteran minimum. He's already given him his guaranteed money. He's in waiting.
Let's hope we don't see Cam Newton.
I agree. Yeah.
Let's hope that doesn't happen.
No, absolutely.
It'll be a long winter.
Jones is young and strong and looks like he knows how to take a hit. I don't see him going down unless something really awkward happens.
Well, that's why they won't have him. He won't run. There was a time when he had that intentional grounding, he could have run for the first down. But I think McDaniels and Bill have told him, do not run under any circumstances. because
Well, he does have to learn the rules of the game too, you know?
absolutely,
He
yeah.
can't come out there like that.
What was that? I don't even know what that was.
He's
If
had
he thrown it 2 yards further to me, it would have been fine. But he threw it behind the line of scrimmage. The ball landed behind the line of scrimmage.
we got to hand it to Mac Jones, though. He has that. This is what I did to the referees. Immediately, he starts pointing and explaining to them.
They said no.
Joe, I think we're talking about two different plays. I'm talking about the play last game where he ran up the middle and just like kind of threw it to the ground in front of him.
Yeah, and he got it called for intentional grounding.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he threw the ball into the line, behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
And like Scotty said, then he tried to tell the ref what
Yeah.
the rule was. The ref said,
Look, dude, there's a guy right there. Look. You know? Hey, but I'm fine with the leash. I'm fine with the leash that they've put on him. And I mean,
me too.
You know,
Tommy Boy had an intentional grounding as the first score in a Super Bowl once. So.
Oh yeah. And it was the difference in the game too.
Oh.
All the final score.
Terrible. I still can't believe that one. Thank God he won 6 Super Bowls, or we would have something negative to say about him. All right, so boys, I have to apologize. So many apologies lately. Jawan Bentley looks like a completely different player than he's looked in his career. Actually looks like he has some speed. Maybe, he decided to work out in the offseason, but he's looked really good.
They're in disguise, Scotty. Dante Hightower looks like Jawan Bentley, and Jawan Bentley looks like Hightower. They're trading places.
Bentley had a great game. He looked like a beast out there.
Yeah, and he was right. And Dante, we know how, and we love Hightower. I don't care. I'll never say a bad word about Dante, but basically the running back has to run into him.
Yeah.
I heard
They
kind of followed Hightower around the last 2 games, and it's horrendous. Like if you just focus on him, what he's done the last 2 games.
I didn't want to watch that clip.
It has been a shit show for him this year, and I don't see him out there much longer.
Yeah, well, they don't. Who do they have to replace him? Is the question.
Haven't you heard the news? It just was on Pro Football Talk about 10 minutes before the show that the Lions are very unhappy with Jamie Collins and are looking to trade him.
One of my favorites.
I don't know. Yeah, but
He hasn't been playing well for them. I watched a little of that game on, was it Monday night or Sunday night? And he looked bad.
Yeah, Jamie got his third contract now. I think he's all set. Yeah, we're not taking it.
There's not a lot of motivation there.
I don't know if Belichick used to be able to reel him in. He's played some good football here. I don't know what he's got left in the tank, but the guy's got some skills.
Well, Jamie played really well in 19, the first half, and it looked like he was almost the defensive player of the year. And then the second half, he completely took off. Knew he was going to get paid. Of course, the Lions came and paid him. I don't see that fit. But look, I understand your point, Joe. If some linebacker comes up that they think would be a nice fit, I think Dante retires.
Yeah, it's been so unlike him these last 2 games. He really looks bad. He doesn't look bad. He looks terrible out there.
Well, I said he should have retired in training camp. I was shocked that he, started.
Yeah, I agree with you. He, especially after taking the year off from the game.
Yeah.
He had a year to heal his body and get in shape, and I thought he'd come back better than ever, but apparently not. Father Time spares no one except one person.
All right.
Yes, exactly. J.C. Jackson. You could have had J.C. Jackson the rest of the league for his 2nd round pick. I don't know why anyone didn't do that. I would have given you a 2nd round pick for J.C. Jackson. The Patriots can't be so laissez-faire and say, oh, we're just going to let J.C. walk. I would try to sign him right now.
Geez, maybe he can play both ways. He's obviously got some ball skills. He's got so many interceptions over the last 2 years. It's amazing.
I'd say let's see a few more games out of him before we ink him to the contract.
All right, but he's played very well last season. I mean, he's a great player, undrafted free agent. So they haven't paid anything for him. And if you would rather move forward with a much younger J.C. Jackson or Stephon Gilmore, who do you give the big contract to for 22?
I could send Jackson right now. No problem with that.
Right. Gilmore walk, because they're not going to pay both of them.
Do you think we're going to see Gilmore on the field this year?
I do.
Yes.
He's going to have to up his value. Look, this is a money grab. Gilmore's not sweating over the Patriots record and stuff. What he's sweating over is his next contract.
Yeah, he's got to go out there and demonstrate that he's still got game to the rest of the league.
Or else no one's going to give him more than a 1-year veteran minimum going forward. So he's got to show he can play and play at a high level.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, prediction time. We play the New Orleans Saints, and like Jameis Winston up for the Patriots. That would have been a nice fit. The Patriots should handle him. Joe, what do you got for a prediction?
Well, again, it's going to be one of those boring, field position ball games. So I'm going to stick with like 21-14, 21-13 Patriots over the Saints. Matt Jones should be able to do well. 3 of the starting 4 in the defensive backfield are probably going to be out. So maybe this is when they can make Timmy happy. And especially the 2 starting safeties are out. Maybe they can make Timmy happy and start throwing to those tight ends.
We like to make Timmy happy. All right, Timmy, tell us what.
I think the defense scores a touchdown this week.
Good.
I think the special team scores a touchdown this week. I got us 28-17.
Does Mac Jones score any touchdowns?
Mac Jones gets 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah.
All right.
He leads them to 2 field goals.
Hey, I don't know if you guys caught this.
To tight ends. Those touchdowns are to tight ends.
Good. There we go.
When Hunter Henry caught his first pass, did you see here what the color commentator said? Trent Green called them lumbering.
Lumbering.
Yeah.
I'm sure Hunter Henry really appreciated that one. I don't know if this, when you sign a big time free agent, do you want the guy described as lumbering? That is
no.
That's the first baseman you describe as lumbering.
All right, yeah, the Patriots are going to win in a wipeout. This is Mac Jones' coming out party. Here we go, 35-10.
I love it.
Yeah. How many touchdown passes? How many touchdown passes for Mac?
5 touchdown passes.
5 Any of them to tight ends?
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
All to James White. All to James White.
Nope. Janu Smith is going to have a breakout game, especially with his yards after catch, boys. All right, we go to the Boston Red Sox. Maybe you've heard of them. Red Sox are 1.5 games up in the wild card. We're sitting pretty, 6-game winning streak. Right now, boys, they've won 87 games. If they have 10 games left, if they go 8-2, they win 95 games. That's bizarre. This is not a 95 win team. But
they got 3 with the Yankees this weekend. That's going to be the key series. They take 2 out of 3. It's over.
It's over. Absolutely.
And lose, they get swept.
It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe they could win with this squad that they have. They could win 95 games. That's bordering on a miracle.
Well, I'm kind of pissed that that they're sending Sale tonight. I would have liked to have seen them send Sale against the Yankees. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, I don't think they're very happy with Chris Sale. Chris Sale, who admitted on Friday that he's unvaccinated. Yeah, I don't think they're not a big fan in the Red Sox organization right now of Chris Sale. If they could trade Chris Sale in the offseason, which you never know.
With that contract?
No, well, look, they could pull a David Price where they eat part of it. And they can get out of Chris. Trust me, I'm sure there's been some conversations with Chris Sale, and they're not happy with him that he won't get poked. Look, I've taken my apologies. I've done it, but now you got to give me some love. Who said that Iglesias should be part of this team when he got cut for the Angels? And
I remember the tweet that night. And I thought, nah, they don't want him. If no one else in the league, in Major League Baseball wants him, why do we want him? But he's been great.
Batting over,
Yelled it at the plate.
remarkable defense, playing second base, which great fit. Unfortunately, guys, and this is true, because he was acquired after September 1st,
He can't play.
play in the playoffs.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, and then we'll have to see Arroyo is going to have to fit him back in and get him in. But it seems like Xander's happier with him playing second with him. You know, it's a much better double play combination. Xander's been happier. I've never seen Xander playing as well in the field and at the plate all at once.
Yeah, Iglesias is a guy that I would sign up for next year, right now.
Really?
Is he?
He's a nice fit for the Red Sox. He really is.
At second?
Oh, well, you know, you could put him.
Utility short, third.
Is
Yeah,
he still
He
got?
hasn't been good.
Could he still be a shortstop?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
He was known for his glove, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's been fantastic. He made a play last night. He does everything in one motion. You know, he grabs the ball and
Very
throws.
graceful.
He's pretty remarkable. And
Well, he had that one play, Scott, in the game we were at. He kind of was unnecessarily in one motion. He had the guy by a mile, and it was a weird looking play.
yeah, Dahlbeck saved him in that one.
Yeah.
Kiki Hernandez, what's his future next year? Because he's been very good in center field. Do you go out and get a center fielder, or are you okay with Kiki playing center field next year?
I don't see Kiki. You know, I want a superstar in center field.
Yeah,
I want a star. You know, I mean, I don't know. I can want all I want. I don't get it, but I'd like to see like a really top flight guy out there, and I don't think Kiki's in that category.
And they're not sold on Jared Duran because Jared Duran's not going to even play anymore for the Boston Red Sox this year, which I kind of find weird because he felt like he would be a good base runner. But I don't think he has great instincts, Joe, as a ball player yet. He wasn't obviously a good hitter, but he was a very poor center fielder.
Yeah, he didn't look out there at all. He was a fish out of water right from the get-go. And it translated to the rest of the outfield didn't play well with him either.
Yeah.
I think Hunter Renfroe and Verdugo had their worst games with him out there.
Yeah, so I think that Duran is definitely a project, and they're going to be going to look for a center fielder. Tristan Casas, you know that the next first baseman for the Red Sox, they brought him up to Worcester already. The last couple of days to finish off the season there. Going to be very interesting to see whether they're hoping JD Martinez either opts out or they can trade him, because I think they'd like to move on and put Casas at first and Dahlbeck as DH.
That's not a bad idea, the way Dahlbeck's sitting now.
Well, JD's got to be around for DH, right? I mean, he's going to opt in.
The Red Sox would like so much that he'd opt out. You know, he's only got a $19 million deal.
Yeah.
You know, there's possibility that he might.
So you'd rather see Dahlbeck as DH than JD.
I would, and I'd like to see them spend get that $19 million, then spend it on a starting pitcher.
I disagree. I think JD's a known commodity. He's going to give you what he gives you, and Dahlbeck's just too wishy-washy. I think he can go quiet. His strikeouts are horrendous. I mean, he's showing something now, but I got to see a little more.
Boy, Dahlbeck can be more versatile, you know, platooning him, and, you know, you can use him at first, use him at DH. I mean, there's room on the roster for both, I think.
So Nathan Eovaldi statistically is one of the best pitchers in the American League, which is remarkable. The beginning of the season, I would have told you that's not possible. But as it's set up right now, the wild card game, Nathan Eovaldi would be the starting pitcher of that game, not Chris Sale. That says a lot about Eovaldi's progress this season.
I've always liked Eovaldi. You know, he's a competitor. He still has the gas. I like him.
He might be the preferred starter against if we're going to face the Yankees.
Yeah.
I would want him. If it's Toronto, I think I'd want the KG, a guy like Sale being the pitcher.
But Sale can only give you 5 innings, Joe, and avoid.
Right, but Tannehill comes in for 3 more.
I know, but you
And
never.
then you go to however you want to set your closer. Maybe it's 3, Garrett Richards and then Barnes.
Okay, Joe, I have a beef with you, and so does Heim Bloom. You said you were ragging on those 2 relievers he acquired in Austin.
Well, Hansel and Gretel are looking much better. He's been pretty good the last couple of times out.
Joe, in September, they have not given up an earned run.
Yeah, it's gotten much better, especially with given the chance. Remember, Robles started terribly. The first 3 appearances, he got the bum's rush before he even got an out, I think.
But look at fellas, Schwarber, Shaw, Iglesias, Rubles, and Davis. The 5 guys he acquired at the deadline have all contributed to the Red Sox in a positive way.
He knows what he's doing, obviously. Look at the team he put together in Tampa on
a lot of those
budget.
And a lot of those guys were picked up. 4 of the 5 were picked up after the trade deadline, or maybe all 5.
No.
4 of the 5. 4 of the 5 were picked up afterwards, after he got a lot of criticism.
No. Shaw and Iglesias after Rubles, Davis, and Schwarber at the deadline. They were currently on major league rosters at the time. Rubles with the Angels or Twins, Davis with the Pirates, and then of course Schwarber with the Nationals. But he didn't want to give up any of those great prospects, Timmy, and he did not. And he got guys who contributed. That's a good trading deadline movers.
Well, all you're paying is money, and it's John Henry's money anyways, not us.
Yeah,
I mean, I think he's bringing us in the right direction, obviously. I wasn't happy with, what he did over the summer, but it seems to be working out over the winter. I mean, it seems to be working out pretty good, though. I mean, none of us expected us to be here at this point.
Absolutely. And we go to the Boston Celtics, boys. Training camp is happening soon. And Jaylen Brown has made a huge announcement today. This is breaking news, the Grandstanders Live Desk, boys. Jaylen Brown says he's going to actually pass this year. So that's very helpful. He says he actually wants to win games and is going to start passing. He's going to recognize that he has 4 other guys in the court. Will Jason Tatum do the same?
Well, neither one of them have demonstrated any ability to do it to this point. I mean, the ball goes to either one of them. It's like going into the black hole. That's it. Everyone else like clear out. It's one-on-one basketball. I hate it. I hate that style of basketball in the NBA. It seems to be taken over. It's not fun to watch. I mean, I love the old passing NBA. It seems to have gone away.
Yeah, and Udoka's not going to.
The best teams still do it. The championship teams are still doing it.
But Udoka, Joe, he's not going to stand for that. These guys are going to have to share.
That's why, if you listen to Jaylen over the last couple of days, it's because it's an African-American coach that he's going to consider doing this. And he says, I don't care if he's not qualified. I'm happy this has happened, and we're going to go forward with this, and I'm going to do my best. The thing I like best about what the Celtics are doing right now is instead of just bringing in the guys, from around the, whoever hangs out at the Reggie Lewis Center regularly in, for training camp for them, they're actually going out and getting these guys that have played in the league and that are just Flotsman Jetsam aren't going to make the team, but there's going to be some legitimate competition there during their training camp. They're going to be ready this year coming out of training camp.
Yeah, it was about the key word in this offseason was acquiring veterans, guys who played, not second round picks. He needs depth. This is a long season. And these guys in the NBA, they do play the 12th man now. Those guys do have roles. And he literally had no bench last year. And I agree. I do think Udoka does have experience. So I would say that he's actually qualified. The guy has paid his.
Oh, yeah. And I think he's paid his dues. And he paid his dues under some fine
Yeah.
head coaches.
Yeah.
So it's not like he's learned the system. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, he's not
So
like.
so do we blame those benches on Danny?
Oh
Oh,
my,
yeah.
absolutely.
100%. 100%.
I'm sure, Timmy, that was a huge argument between Brad and Danny. Is look at the shit you gave me
On
down.
a daily basis, they probably argued about it.
Yeah, and then he's like, "No, Carson Edwards is going to be something." Never.
Trey Waters, I'm not giving up my second round picks, my 6 second round picks this year. That's going to be your bench.
And then the whole Taco Fall thing that just became a circus act.
It was a circus, yeah.
And coaches don't like that stuff.
Yeah, he's a fun guy and everything, but let him be a fun guy somewhere else.
And Shemi, I'm so glad Shemi's off the team. Oh my God, that was like.
Grant might be gone soon too, because that Spanish guy, although he's old, plays Grant's position.
Grant is just not part of a lineup that's going to win anything. I'm sorry. He's a man without a country with his size and his athleticism.
Yeah, he's between positions and everything.
Yeah, he just doesn't have the body. You see him go out there. He's too big to go against the little guys. He's too small to go against the big guys, and he just doesn't have enough skill to make up for it.
Well, needless to say, Grant and Big Baby Davis, aren't they doing like the 3-on-3 thing?
Oh, are they?
No, I'm saying, don't they?
The big three.
Doesn't Big Baby do 3-on-3?
That big three, Scal does that, I know.
Yeah, so perfect for Grant Williams because he'll be doing it in a couple of weeks.
Well, that's for old guys. That's for guys that are way over the hill.
So we're saying, are we saying Grant Williams won't be on the roster this year?
No, it's going to be Sullinger, Jared Sullinger, Big Baby.
Wait. The largest behind ever created on a human being, Jared Sullinger.
Didn't Jared Sullinger get the MVP in some the Chinese tournament?
Something. Because they just kept on staring on his fat ass.
I think he used to have his ass let out in the pants. So he had to. I mean, there were no pants that could go over that butt.
Nicki Minaj.
Like no one.
Nicki Minaj, when she went in to get her ass extensions, went and showed them a picture of Jared Sullinger's ass, and she said, "I'd like that." And the doctor said, "That's not possible."
When he would take the court, I would just be just like obsessed with his ass. It was just enormous.
Enormous. I remember someone said it was bigger than the country of Guatemala, and it was true. It was unbelievable. Can you imagine the equipment manager just like
put some extensions on that jock strap. It's a long way around.
And if you've seen Big Baby now, it's pathetic. Big Baby
really?
Gotta be $4 bills. Gotta be. Oh my God. I thought Mac
he's still out there competing at some level.
Yeah. Yeah, he is. He does that 3-on-3, Joe.
Oh yeah, he probably is that 3-on-3.
I'm gonna have to pull that up on YouTube or something,
But this is
look up the big three. That's what they call it.
This is the thing, fellas. How do you play professional basketball, which I would consider, you have to be the best shape of any of the 4 sports to play, right? The way they up and down and jumping and all that stuff. How do you play in our heavy? It always amazes me how these guys can do that.
They have incredible runs. Well, a lot of them only play from line to the foul line to the foul line. They only play like slightly more than half the court rather than a guy that's going from baseline to baseline. So it's a little different.
I don't remember, Joe. Obviously we had Shaq was heavy. We talked about Big Baby, Sullinger, Grant Williams, but we didn't really have, growing up and over the years, Celtics didn't have fat players like some of the other teams.
Tyson was always hefty.
As a player?
Yeah. Not when he was young, but in his last couple of years, he carried a lot of weight on that frame. He had a lot of, he had big shoulders, so he was the kind of guy that could carry that kind of weight.
That's the irony. The big three, Parrish, Bird, and McHale, they seem to get skinnier as the years go on. They were wearing out, right? And they went the opposite way. If you look at them at the end of their careers, they look emaciated. I mean, they pretty much gave everything they could. Well, you guys excited about the Celtics season? The Garden came out today that you have to prove that you're vaccinated or been tested.
All right. I went to the Eagles concert, and there were some people that weren't going in. I had to go to the Ticketmaster office to straighten out a ticket situation. And there were people from out of town that didn't have their cards. Okay. So they literally didn't even go into the concert. And it was such a joke presenting that vaccination card. You could have waved an index card with some scribbling on it, and they just passed you through.
Well, wait, you can use your phone, right?
No, it was you pull out your index card, your vaccination.
You had to bring the physical card.
Yeah, you had to bring that with you.
Take a picture of it?
No, you might have been able to take a picture of it. I don't know, but believe me, they were not scouring and examining anyone's.
Oh, no, it was done to me is anyone that was getting turned away, take a picture of yours on their phone.
Anyone should have done it. Believe me, it's unenforceable. I mean, they can say it all they want, but they're not like examining the cards as you're going in. You just wave it. It's like going into Costco. You flash a black credit card and they let you in.
Well, the hope is that everybody who is going to the concert will be vaccinated and will be responsible in that way. Don't try. These guys. I don't want anyone trying to get away with stuff. When we go to the Red Sox and we were there Friday and Saturday, we assumed that everybody around us was vaccinated. Correct?
Well,
that's the assumption you have to make.
I know a lot of people who are refusing to get it. I mean, for their own reasons, and there's still a lot of people unvaccinated out there.
Insanity. Well,
Where in Massachusetts, though, it is like 90%.
Yeah.
Have at least one shot. 92% have at least one shot of the adults.
Well, yeah. I must know a lot of
most people going to Fenway.
Yeah,
I must know a lot of knuckleheads because I know a lot of people that don't have it.
Timmy, I know you know everybody. And so that doesn't shock me that you probably know the 92%, know the 8%. And clearly know everyone, Timmy.
Well, that 8% is very vocal about this. They're not. They bring the subject up whether no matter what you're talking about, they're going to bring that subject up, don't they?
Yeah, but I know someone who would refuse to get vaccinated, and because her job mandated it, is now getting vaccinated. So mandates work. That's it. So she's going to get vaccinated. She's a person who, had she gotten COVID without being vaccinated, she could have very well have passed away. So I'm glad that it's mandated, and I'm glad that she's going to be safe. All right, we go to the Bruins. They started training camp today. It's good to hear the honesty of Bruce Cassidy. So this breaking news, boys, I watched the press conference of what they showed on. And apparently Jake DeBrusk has some issues for which Bruce Cassidy said off the ice. And we know, we're just speculating, in the past, Tyler Sagan, in the past, and there's many others that we can name. These young players tend to have, let's just say, some issues with maybe drugs and alcohol, Timmy?
Do you think that might explain some lack of performance by him?
Bruce Cassidy said off the ice. That was
that would explain, because the kid has a boatload of talent that is untapped, or he's unwilling to tap it or whatever, but he has certainly not played up to his capabilities.
Well, with Hamilton and Sagan, it was their sexual predilections that
well, everything. He had a whole basket full of predilections, Joe. I mean, they used to have to put a guy on his door when they were on the road. Never mind that, after going after teammates' wives and every other thing he was doing. You know what I mean? There was a rumor that Sean Thornton was going to tune him up a few times because of his dalliances with teammates' wives.
Is that right?
Dougie going on with their brothers.
There's anything wrong with that?
No.
Dougie and Kelly sitting in the tree.
Both got shipped out of town.
At least it's Kelly.
Comparing man buns.
It's Kelly. That's can be a girl's name. In fact, growing up, Kelly was a girl's name.
He did have long hair.
I had a very pretty neighbor named Kelly.
I lost the bet, man. I'm gonna have to pay off the predilection. What did you call predilection?
Predilection.
Election. Oh man, someone got 10-1 odds that Timmy would use that word tonight. I said, no way.
It's my Catholic memorial education coming in.
I know it's paying off big time. Finally, have you paid off your student loans yet?
They were chasing me for a while. I finally squared away with that.
He changed his name.
The chase was on, as they say.
Nobody. I feel like the most honest coach in this town is Bruce Cassidy.
Well, in hockey, you can do that because Providence is right down the street. You know? I mean, these Canadian kids, they're dying to play.
Well, you gotta look at them. What are they? 99% vaccinated.
I mean,
they count on one hand how many players in the entire NHL are vaccinated.
I remember, the Bruins used to bench Cam Neely some games if he wasn't playing. I mean, the NHL boy, they're just not afraid to lay down the lumber on you if you're not living up to your abilities.
So clearly, they tried to trade DeBrusque during the offseason, and nobody would even give him a bag of pucks.
He's a fourth liner now. Last year was awful.
He can't find the back of the net.
Yeah.
Are we going to talk about Tuukka at all here?
Are they going to sign him? That's what I've been wanting to ask you, Jim.
Well, he came out. He had a big article. He said he's not in it for the money anymore. He just wants to play.
Yeah, I heard him say that he doesn't care what he gets. I'm sure he does, but
he said, "I'm not looking for $7 million a year. I want to be in Boston. I want to play for the Bruins." I mean, he could not have come groveling any more than he was groveling.
Yeah, the wife and kids told him, "No, well, this is where we're gonna stay. You can go somewhere else.
You go back to Finland by yourself. We're staying here."
Yeah, that's maybe his girlfriend decided that she wasn't going to move to Finland or something. And then he's like, "Damn,
he's groveling."
American, and I'm sure she's not going to Finland.
I don't think I've ever seen a professional say the words that he said during contract time, ever.
Me either.
But we actually thought the complete opposite until now, right?
Well, that must be the girlfriend, as Joe said, whispering in his ear.
Yeah, I'm saying,
you're going nowhere.
You're going nowhere, honey. We're standing within Route 128 here,
If the price is right, Tuukka's a fine goaltender.
Oh, I'll take Tuukka for $3 million.
He was taking up too much money on the limited salary cap that the NHL has.
I'll take Tuukka for $3 million all day.
Yes.
Oh my God.
You
drove him out of town, and all of a sudden now, just because he's going to get paid less, you love him?
He had his shaky moments, Scotty, and I call it like I see it, but he's played well. He's a good goalie.
Joe drives Sony Michel out, and God knows, Joe, you don't think we could use Sony Michel right now?
Did you see him playing for the Rams the other night?
How do you look?
He had one decent run. Then, the usual Sonys dancing behind the line and getting no gains.
See, look, he's even driving him out of Los Angeles right now. That's what
he did have one good run off left tackle. Really nice run.
All right. Look, Tuukka Rask, it's going to be the same old, same old. He's getting older. I just think right now he trends as a backup goaltender.
Really? So you think
who's going to be your first line?
Well, I mean, the
kid there.
The kid they acquired is probably Swayman. Did they sour on him or what?
I like Swayman. I'll take him all day.
I think they said they might want to put him down in Providence for a whole nother year.
Yeah, but that's what they did. They did send him down to Providence, I thought.
Yeah.
And what's the guy's that they acquired? What's the kid's name?
I don't even know.
He's like right? Is he from Czechoslovakia or something?
Yeah, I can't pronounce the name, but I don't know anything about the guy. To tell you the truth, I can't.
Yeah, neither do I.
I can't even think about games he's played against the Bruins or anything. He doesn't ring a bell at all for me.
What are the odds that he lives up to what Tuca was doing here? I think they're not good.
No, well, obviously, look, Tuca couldn't play forever, Timmy, especially when you're ripping him a new one every time.
Well, Tuca always played better when you gave him only one game a week, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, we all play better.
He liked to get value, for his contract.
Yeah, he's not a guy who's going to play 60 games anymore.
No, and I don't think in this league, and you don't see that too much anymore anyways.
And who knows how much that injury was bothering him last year.
So we were glad.
Hip is a hip injury is bad. We've all said this before. In all sports, hips usually don't come back from.
So this is what we're doing here, Joe and Timmy. We're chasing after that second cup this group should have got. Freaking Krejci's coming.
I should have gotten at least 3 by now in this.
Krejci's coming back. That's happening.
No, he's not. He's tearing it up over there.
No, he's coming back at some point. That's a fate.
He says, forget about it. It's never going to happen.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be after Krejci if we didn't have Taylor Hall working for him, but it was the reemergence of Krejci when Hall showed up. So that's the only reason I want to see Krejci back is to see him operate with Hall out there again.
And guys like Bergeron and Marchand, you can't depend on them each year to play the level that they are. I mean, Bergeron.
Yeah, this might be Bergeron's last year. He's been making noises like that. He'll tell us, when and if he's going to retire. But
what a beating his body has taken through the years. My goodness.
Yeah. And he's done it well. He's done the dirty work, and in front of the net, taking the beating. Good for he's had a wonderful career. You almost can't ask for more than he's had. But Chara's got a new team.
I know. That's unbelievable.
Islanders
or an old team.
Speaking of Chara and Tom Brady, two athletes in the same age group, right?
Yeah.
No one takes care of their body better than Chara. I don't know if Brady even takes care of his body better than Chara. Why have we not seen any slowdown in Tom Brady? But you could obviously see it in Chara. What is this magic pill that this guy's taking?
Well, Tom Brady, again, where is the expenditure of energy during the game?
What is it by smarts, not by physical problems?
It's really not. It's all about, like you talked about before, Joe, with Peyton Manning. It's just going to be about when his arm gives out. It's not going to be an injury. He's not going to get tackled and get injured because he knows how to do it. It's not going to be his lower body. It's going to be when his arm cannot throw those passes.
But his arm looks better now than it did 5 years ago. I mean, his release is better. Everything's better. It's like he's what was that movie where the guy aged? So this guy's going backwards. Yeah, this guy's going backwards on the age with his release and everything. He's better than he's ever been.
Okay, is Tom Brady so obsessed with being Tom Brady and keeping that going for as long as possible that he'd be willing to take performance-enhancing drugs? And could we be just the fools right now? And he's been taking something for years because we've never seen something like this.
He may have, and the NFL is not going to test him for it. He is the face of the league now. He's not the face of the Patriots anymore. He is the face of the NFL. The guy's never going to come calling at his door with a cup.
Yeah. What a bomb! What a bomb! What a gigantic bomb that would be if that ever came out, though.
It's not going to happen ever.
He's fiddling with his legacy right now if he continues. I mean, I can't.
They would never test him. They would never test him. They're not going to ask a question they don't want to know the answer to.
The only way I agree with Joe, and the only way he's going to get jammed up is if Alex Guerrero gets jammed up, because I've heard that Guerrero is Balco too.
Really?
Yeah.
But the NFL cannot afford to test Tom Brady, so they never will. I mean, that would call into question the whole league.
I mean, Gronk's another specimen. I mean, he was a skinny little kid 2 years ago. All of a sudden, he's the Hulk again. I mean, how do you do that?
Then 2 weeks later, he could be a skinny little kid again.
Yeah.
But I mean, how do you do that with your body? I don't get it.
Yeah. We know how he does it. God bless him.
But he, and he's as good as he's ever been too.
He looked as
Watch
good
him
as he's
do the
ever been.
last couple of weeks, he's
Yeah, yeah.
unbelievable.
And I guess, as we know, when you have a back problem, a serious back problem, and all you have to do is play football and it gets better.
And go see Alex Guerrero.
Yeah. Look, Guerrero, and this is pure
Possibility.
we don't know anything. We're not saying this is the truth, but Guerrero would feel like a really good scapegoat if if all of a sudden some shit hit the fan.
Throw him under the bus.
I mean, that is,
He won't care. He got his money.
and it seems like that would be a nice deal. You're right. You wouldn't have to throw him under the bus. He'd crawl under it, Joe.
He'd be right up in Canada where they couldn't touch him.
Yeah. Remember Tiger Woods, who lives in Los Angeles, somehow had a doctor in Canada. Because that makes complete sense when you're going for a checkup that you would go like 4,000 miles for it.
The Patriots offensive line, remember, they were getting tens of thousands of Oxycontins coming from Canada with the old left guard there, remember?
Yeah.
When he got jammed up?
Yeah, so needless to say, Tiger Woods, if you see a picture of him when he won the college title at Stanford, and then you see a picture of him in his prime, that's not even the same human being.
Oh, 50 pounds heavier and stronger. And
But also the whole Tom Brady, everyone shows the picture, Joe and Timmy, of Tom Brady at the combine. It's not like Tom Brady wasn't lifting weights for 5 years before that.
He was in the weight room every day. Of
So
course you're in Michigan. You're living in the weight room, right?
yeah, so that's what his body at that age could do. And again, all of us are a 50 plus. We know that it doesn't get any better.
It absolutely doesn't. You know what it's like getting out of bed? It's a struggle. I mean, and I only played a few years of hockey, and I feel every freaking hit I ever gave.
And these guys that hit him are 100, 150 pounds bigger.
A lot bigger than a right wing for Framingham State. I'll tell you that. You know?
Yeah, these guys are bigger, faster, stronger. They live in the weight room.
I'm sure if you got Peyton Manning liquored up in a bar, I'm sure that he would just start laughing, boys. Laughing. And they tell you what
Peyton would still be playing if it wasn't for that neck injury. Yeah, he was one of those guys that I think he set the record for the most consecutive games starting.
Yeah, here's a guy who took care of his body just as much as Tom Brady did.
Oh, he took every shot out there.
But he wasn't willing to take. He never.
Was his wife's name? Remember, the wife was getting it.
That's Clemens.
No, Peyton.
Yeah, I think that was Peyton too, right? Yeah.
Peyton did that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, there you go. Yeah. Well, Giselle would never let Tommy Boy do that because.
Giselle's got good international contacts in her industry.
Everything
make new bodies not happen overnight in her industry.
Everything's addressed to A. Guerrero.
Yeah, models don't have to worry about aging. No.
Hey, I mean, I don't blame these guys one bit. I mean, but it can affect their legacy. That's for sure.
Well, look,
yeah, but I don't. Some guys like the NFL when I forget which news agency came after Peyton there on that. The NFL squashed it, and the NFL would squash anyone if ESPN or Sports Illustrated tried to go after Tom Brady. Maybe poking around in Alex Guerrero's trash can. They put the squash on them too. If you want locker room access, you better stop what you're doing.
You wonder if there's some ambitious reporter out there trying to track this down somewhere.
That's who did the Peyton Manning. It had to fall all the way to Al Jazeera.
Yeah, well, that's
really
that was the only ones who would dare touch that Peyton Manning thing because they don't give a rat's ass about the NFL access.
All right, boys.
All the others wouldn't touch it.
America loves their heroes.
Boys, a little update here. First of all, Toronto loses to the Rays.
Oh, good.
That's good. And then Schwarber just hit a solo homer in the bottom of the first. Red Sox lead 1-0. So the Red Sox can win tonight. They'd be up 2.5 with 9 games left, 6 of which against god awful team in Nationals and Orioles.
Yeah, they'd be able to, tinker with it to put Evaldi into the front of the line for, skipping the Nationals.
Look, in a wild card game, I'm all for Evaldi and Sale. Call it a day.
1-2.
Yep. You gotta
It's all in. It's all in.
You have to win that game. And the fact is, the Red Sox don't match up well with Tampa. They're not going to win that series, but that's a hell of a successful season if you could get into the playoffs and win the wild card game.
I'd like to go with Evaldi and then Tiana and then into my Ottavino or Bonds, whoever matched up the best, or Richards, whoever matched up best in the wild card, and save Sale for a potential opening day starter in the division.
I don't know if I want to see Barnes on the field in that game.
Yeah, Joe. Jesus, Joe. Barnes and Richards in the playoff game. What really?
Hey, Richards has been the best reliever in baseball since they put him back there.
We've had private discussions. I don't want you mentioning Garrett Richards pitching an important game ever again, Joe. Ever.
How about Barnes?
Coming to Brockton. I'm coming
Bonds,
there.
no, I'm out on Bonds.
Yeah, I don't want to see him taking
And Whitlock's hurt. And how long is Whitlock going to be out for?
10 days. The rest of the season. But they'll be ready for the playoff game.
Let's hope so. He's needed a lot of rest between everything anyways all year long.
All right, we got to get going. So I'm going to ask you one more question. Garrett Richards has a $10 million option, and they got to give him $1.5 million if they decline it. So that means Garrett Richards would cost the Red Sox $8.5 million to be on the team next year. What are the chances they re-sign him?
Go.
I mean, they can opt in for $10 million or opt out for $1.5 million.
Yeah, so basically,
That's the option. They'll opt in for 10.
you think?
That's cheap.
Yeah. All right, Timmy.
Gotta go with Joe. Don't take him.
I think you're right too. I think a guy like that they can put into both roles, and because you could slip him into a starter, and then obviously he's now a bullpen guy too. He gives you nice flexibility at a good price. I think they do that. All right, boys. Well, that's our show for tonight. Want to thank everyone behind the scenes. Of course, Corbin. Want to thank the fellas. Please check us out on our website at thegrandstanders.com and tune in again next Wednesday night at 6:30 for another edition of Grandstanders Live. I'm your host, Scott Kerman. Have a great and happy night.